J.R. Hendrick Texan Night. Get ready for the story of the adventure. January 10th, 1994, 10 a.m. J.R. is visiting the office of Rima Jacobson to get his accommodation letters for the semester. I don't know why. They asked me to keep doing this for you. I hear your father has asked for an appointment with the Clinton administration. And based on the way I feel, you are just as power hungry as your father, Rima said. 10:50 a.m. What'd she say? Cousin Joe asked. The usual, J.R. said. Come on, ignore her. She'll be out of her job soon. Let's go to the bookstore and get your books, Joe said. 1 p.m. J.R. is having lunch at Subway with his cousin Joe when a young man approached them. J.R., I would like for you to meet a guy named Larry Thurber. He is a business economics major who is minoring in public affairs. He's visually impaired, just like you, Joe said. I have so wanted to meet you, Larry said. Larry says. I'm not sure how to take that, J.R. says. Sincere admiration, J.R., from one student to another, Larry says. Sit down and join us, J.R. said. Come to find out, Larry would be in J.R.'s government and business and professional speech classes. 2 p.m. Jim and his family arrive in Branson and take a 1994 Chrysler rental van to the Marriott Hotel. Arriving at the hotel, Elizabeth wanted to relax. The rest of the women wanted to go shopping at the gift shop downstairs. Jim and Claude decided to go swimming. Later, they would grab dinner and go to the Andrew Jones-Rodney Carrington show. 4:30 p.m. J.R. is in his dorm room studying his business and professional communications class. After lunch, he had gone to listen to Rush Limbaugh for a few hours before beginning his studies. There's a knock at the door. It's Calvin Broderson. Come in, Calvin, J.R. said. I heard your girl broke it off with you. Well, so much the better. I don't care. I thought maybe we had a chance. But now, she ain't thinking about it because she's too close to Brad. Well then, she's a fool. You going to the Spirit Club tonight? No, I have a date with Jennifer Bowers. Taco Bell? Try to get there tomorrow. We'll talk, Calvin said. 5:45 p.m. The family dined at a hotel restaurant in Branson, Missouri. They have barbecue burgers for dinner before the couples go off for the Andy Jones and Rodney Carrington show. And Betsy and Elizabeth returns to her room to relax. 6:20 p.m. JR is just finished bathing, and is listening to Blake Carter. We have a crisis situation in North Korea, but yeah, Bill Clinton, our president, is in Brussels, kowtowing and kissing rings with NATO, Carter said. At a time when North Korea and domestic policy should be something going on with the Clintons, they're dealing with international foreign policy and in a conspiratorial way. What idiots. "6 p.m. The Hendrick Party is at the Andy Jones and Ronnie Carrington show. Jim and Claude get some Jack Daniels whiskey to share. Betsy and Becky go for some Missouri Mule cocktails. 7:20 p.m. JR is having dinner at Taco Villa with Jennifer Bowers, as well as Sharon. They talk about the semester's classes that they have going on. January 11th, 3:15 a.m. Elizabeth is sitting up in bed in her hotel room, listening to country music videos on the TV. She has abdominal cramps from the previous chemotherapy, so she makes a note to reschedule her chemotherapy for the 18th. She goes to the hotel room sink and pours some water and mixes it with some apple cider vinegar. This has been her home remedy for cramps due to chemotherapy since 1987. 4:50 a.m. JR wakes up and put on his headphones to listen to the radio. The Blake Carter minute comes on the radio. Bill Clinton is sucking up to allies in Brussels. And meanwhile, we have an ice skating scandal going on, mixing in Detroit, with Nancy Kerrigan stabbed by Tonya Harding. Plus, there was a university summit in UCLA on the information superhighway, and no Vice President Al Gore in sight. He turns off the radio and sits down, thinking about the past few days' events. He is unhappy that things are over between him and Karen, but he is forming a fast, platonic relationship with Jennifer Bowers. He misses Karen's wit, but he finds that Jennifer is more calm, more patient, and with more staying power as a friend. Meanwhile, baby Andrew cries at Kyle's double-wide trailer at the ranch. Kyle goes to the nursery bedroom to rock and feed the child. It was almost like he instantaneously took hold of his firstborn son. 6:25 a.m. Jay arrives for breakfast at the Spirit Club Breakfast is boiled eggs, blueberry muffins, an option of milk or orange juice. Dr. Kenneth Sanders is a professor of journalism at Lubbock Christian University. Spoke about the blessings and curses that come from the fall of Adam and Eve. Meanwhile, in Branson, Jim and his party are having breakfast at the hotel restaurant. Before you girls go shopping, I want you to take me. Before you girls go shopping, I want you to take me to the Titanic Museum, Elizabeth said. Yeah, well, Greg Sanders called last night. He said something about a Branson Scenic Railway. It sounds like a train. Short ride train ride. Sounds like fun, huh, Claude? Doesn't take off until this afternoon. Why don't we go see the museum of the Titanic and then hit the railway where our women go shopping, Claude said. Good idea, Betsy said. 8 a.m. The Hendrick entourage tour the Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri. After the 3-hour tour, they would have lunch, and then the women would spend the afternoon shopping, with only Elizabeth relaxing in a hotel suite as the men hit the Branson Scenic Railway. 8:30 a.m. Jared makes his way to Geology 219. There he picks a seat on the 4th row. Ken Rogers, the geology professor, approaches him. You must be J.R. Hendrick, the blind student whose daddy's making him take this course? Do you have your accommodation letters? J.R. produces the letter. Recording the lectures, no problem. Extra time on tests, no problem. Testing at the Pass Center. Let's see. I know you stay in Crockett House, so I'll have to talk to your new tutor, N.D. Pilsner, about assigning you a science reader for your test, Rogers says. 8:55 a.m. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Hal is holding and feeding Andrew. Little George is running around the living room, making all kinds of racket. Kelly, the governess, knows this could get to Kyle, so she rushes him into his room to play. It was cold outside, and therefore too early to play. 11:10 a.m. Jer is in his room listening to the Rush Limbaugh show. Kevin was planning on picking him up at 1 for the pizza buffet at Cece's Pizza. Kevin had also told him tonight that there was to be a meeting for congressional candidate Joseph Carey